Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Joining me now is Congressman Glenn Ivey. Congressman, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you coming back on again. Really a sobering moment, a harrowing moment that we saw over the weekend that transcends politics. Former President Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt at a political rally on Saturday. When you saw the news, when you saw the video, what's your reaction?
I mean, I was pretty shocked. I had heard about it first before I saw the video. We were not watching any television or anything at the time, but then we pulled it up immediately, and yeah, it's surreal. You know, the shot that it was that close. I think it's pretty hard to believe that someone was able to get that clean of a shot at the president at a rally, and the fact that he missed. You know, thank God, but it was deeply disturbing at a variety of levels.
Yeah, I've talked to your colleagues earlier today, and they all said the same sentiment of, you know, God was there because a miracle happened. It was so close. But you bring up a question. It is hard to believe that someone was able to get that type of shot. What questions do you have for the Secret Service here?
Yeah, I'm on the Judiciary Committee and the Homeland Security Committee. And I assume I heard the speaker say he wanted to do a congressional investigation on that. I'm certainly on board with that effort. I think we need to make sure that we figure out exactly what went wrong on that day, and make sure that it's not something that will be replicated in the future for sure. And in addition, we've got the Republican and the Democratic conventions. Republicans have already started theirs, so we need to make sure that we've redoubled the efforts to make sure that those are secure. And then the protection of individual members. I mean, we know that Gabby Giffords was shot, Steve Scalise has been shot, other members of Congress. There have been attempts, Gretchen Whitmer, there was an attempt to I think abduct her and perhaps harm her as well a few years ago that was thwarted. So, we know that these threats are out there, and that, these are angry times here in the United States. We need to try and make sure we do everything to de-escalate that and try and get back to a more civilized approach to political disagreement. We're going to have differences, but we can disagree without being disagreeable.
It's no secret, really, that the political divide in this country has really reached a boiling point in recent months, weeks, years. Members of both parties, from President Biden to Speaker Mike Johnson, people on down, have called for unity in this moment. Some have had a different message. A few hours after the shooting, now vice presidential pick J.D. Vance tweeted this. Quote, the central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. What do you think of a take like that?
Well, I was deeply disappointed with that even before I knew he was going to be the VP pick for the Republican ticket for a couple of reasons. One is it's exactly the opposite of what we need right now. It's sort of throwing more rocks, more gasoline on the fire, so to speak. But also, there's no factual basis for the statement. At the time he made the statement, I'm not even sure we knew the name of the shooter, much less, whether Biden or anybody else influenced him in his decision to do this. And I know the FBI is still working on this, but as far as I know, they still haven't figured that out. And I heard that he's a registered Republican. I think he gave $15 to Act Blue, which is a Democratic portal for donations. But, to say that this is Biden's fault, I think is, at least at this point, factually false. And again, not what we need right now. We really need to move things in a different and better direction than they're going. And J.D. Vance's comments were the wrong statement at the wrong time.
More broadly, some Republicans have criticized Democrats for calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy, saying that type of rhetoric is to blame for the events unfolding on Saturday. What do you make of those takes?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of things. One is, I don't know, again, whether those kinds of comments fueled what this guy was thinking at the time he picked up the AR and went onto that roof and then took a shot at the presidential nominee. But at the end of the day, I think it's important for us to also make sure that we're going to have disagreements, and they're going to be substantive. And I think I think it's okay for us to do that. There's an old saying, it's not important for us to think the same, but it is important for us to think together. And I think that's what needs to happen in Washington. We're going to have disagreements. Democrats are still going to be Democrats. Republicans are still going to be Republicans, and rightly so. I mean, that's what this American process is supposed to be, the separation of powers, the competition of the free market of ideas. There's supposed to be disagreements. We just have to make sure we resolve them in the way that the framers set up, and that's through the political process. It's ballots, not bullets, is the way we need to go.
It's really no secret that temperatures are at an all-time high in this election. What we saw Saturday, was the first attempted assassination in this country of a presidential candidate since 1981. Regardless of party, what's your message to your constituents and Americans, both Democrats and Republicans?
Yeah, I mean, it was a scary moment for a variety of reasons. I also don't want to gloss over the fact that even though, presidential nominee Trump did not get seriously injured, a man lost his life on Saturday and two others were seriously injured. So we want to make sure we keep that in our minds, and those families in our minds and hearts as well. But, I think it's important for us to make sure that we understand the magnitude of this moment. This is a pivotal election. I do think there are a lot of issues on the ballot that are going to be really important for the United States moving forward. Abortion and reproductive rights is one of those, for example. I think there are others as well, for sure. Voting rights, civil rights, criminal justice reform. I know people want to make sure that even though the economy is doing well, that they benefit as well too. And managing the prescription drug prices. I think the cap on cost of insulin was a big step. There's a lot of concern about the cost of gas and groceries. Inflation's turning around, but it hasn't gone far enough. Unemployment's way down. I mean, these are the kinds of issues, pocketbook issues in particular, that most voters have on their minds. And I think we have to find a way, we as Democrats in particular, to speak directly to that. And I think President Biden needs to talk to them about what he's going to do to try and make their lives better and what his vision for the country is moving forward.
Congressman Glenn Ivey, I appreciate the conversation. Per usual, you're welcome back on Forbes Newsroom anytime.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.